Hey everybody, welcome back to 1 Minute Walking Tours. As always, I'm your host Jonathan, and today we're in Central Park to talk about Fort Clinton, of all places. But before I get started, I want to say thanks to all our new subscribers. Subscribing and liking videos is the best way for people to find them and help the channel grow. And I want to say thank you to Russell from Charlottesville, Virginia, for being our first patron. Thank you so much, Russell. Now, we're here at Fort Clinton, which is actually a designated little area here in Central Park. And you have to remember that Central Park is an entirely artificially man-made, every tree, every lake, all of that was added or built to create Central Park, which started in 1859. Now, the area I'm up on now, you can see is actually pretty high. I mean, I know there's big buildings, this is New York City, but in 1776, the British who had occupied New York after the Battle of Brooklyn decided that one of the ways they wanted to defend Manhattan was to have a fortress up on this hill. Now, it wasn't a fortress with high walls, with lots of guns. Really what they had would have been a cannon like this one. This is not the piece that was up here, but really what it was to signal the rest of New York City, to signal the troops, signal the Navy that people were on the way to attack the settlement, or attack the city actually. And at the time there was actually only one road, and it ran through an area called McGowan's Pass, which is not too far from here. You came across Kings Bridge, went down the path, and it took you down into New York City. So this was occupied from 1776 to 1783 and so forth. And during the War of 1812, after the Washington, D.C. had been attacked and burned by the British, the Americans decided they were going to increase their defensive systems here in New York City. And they decided that they too would overtake this area, or take over this area and provide a little bit more protection for Manhattan. Because at the time, you could see from here, you could have seen Long Island, Long Island Sound, pardon me, and you could have seen East River. And it was part of a series of fortresses that they put in, or defensive ring around New York City, far north, and that would have included Nutter's Battery, which is west of here, Fort Fish. I tried to find out who that was named for, but I couldn't. And that would have been southwest of here. The blockhouse in Central Park, that was originally put here in during the War of 1812 and 1814 to help defend New York City. Now, this cannon actually was on a British ship called the Hussar, which sank in 1780 in the treacherous waters near Hellgate. Now, that was before the Hellgate Rock had been destroyed or blown up. It was one of the biggest explosions in human history up to that time. And this gun was salvaged, and it was brought to Central Park, or put on display in 1865. It was brought to Central Park in 1865, and it was here in New York, in Central Park, in numerous places until the 70s, where, like everything in the 70s, it was vandalized and was put into storage. And in 2014, there was a restoration of the Fort Clinton Park area here, and they brought the gun to put it back on display. So, if you're in Central Park, it's weird to think a couple of things. One, how the last ice age shaped it, and how it was so far from New York City, it was considered outer defensive rings. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and please like and subscribe, and we'll see you here soon on 1 Minute Walking Tour.